this party started. We're talking about a great topic. Y'all know this. I mean, how exciting, how much more exciting is to spend an evening talking about life insurance. Do you- when you were a little kid, you said, when I grow up, I'm going to spend Wednesday night talking about life insurance. everybody, everybody deserves that. Everybody deserves at least one Wednesday night to have the excitement of a life insurance discussion. If you don't talk about it, you might be about it, right? You don't want to be about it. But this is a great time. This is Afro Economics Live, and I am JB Bryan, the president and chief investment officer of JB Bryan, JB Bryan Financial Group,
Get it right,
a
Jay.
registered investment advisory firm. Don't make me close your microphone. That is funny. I thought it up myself and I'm stuttering. How you gonna stutter in your own name? JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm. I got to say it 2 times. And the home of Afro Economics, a strategic financial management program designed for the advancement of Black wealth in America and abroad. Everywhere we want to get wealthier and wealthier based on 10 timeless principles. Make sure you go to the website and check it out. I opened up the microphone for just a few of the members who I know will ask some key questions to keep this discussion alive. Someone told me the other day, they said, "Hey, JB, I only want to hear you talk." Isn't that nice? I was so flattered. They was like, I only, and I was like, I know, I'm feeling that. I feel the same way. But most people, for some reason, like to hear the opinion of others as well. So I definitely want you to feel encouraged that if your microphone is open, I definitely want to hear from you. You help me grow. We grow together. And what a positive opportunity. I mean, with one thing like before COVID-19, I definitely was like, I'm going to talk, but somewhere along the way, God instructed me that, you know, you may not be the most popular person on the planet, but you can be the most powerful person on the planet. Popularity doesn't make you powerful. Your impact makes you powerful. And I believe that the back and forth discussion in the sincerity that you share, like your life experiences are so powerful and they give me energy. I am encouraged by helping you. I feel that each of us should do throughout our lives something that allows us to open the mic for someone else, hear what they say, listen to what they say, be a part and make the maximum impact on the life of others, just as God instructed. There's things that are so much more powerful than money, so much more. I mean, and I'm saying that from a financial advisor perspective. The most powerful thing that I can share in your life is to listen to what's important to you and help you make that happen. The money is just a side note. The money helps it. It's a tool to help that. But when it's all said and done, when the life insurance policy is about to be pulled out, I want you to be able to say, I lived my life fully and I had a person or persons on my team who believed in my dream. And that's what you bring to me. But I also want you to know that I believe in you too. I want to help you live your life as fully as humanly possible. I really, truly do. So tonight's discussion is about, the 10 things that I hate about life insurance because really nobody was responding to the workshop when I sent it out till I said I changed the title. So I was like, I told Michael, I was like, you know what? People finally started registering when finally I said that I'm going to talk about what I hate about it. And y'all were like, yeah, what you hate about it? I hate it too. So we can just hate on life insurance together. But there's one thing that we all know for sure is what?
We will die
We
one day.
will.
Yeah.
And you still gonna be black. We will be black and we will die one day. And that's the truth. That's what my dad used to say. You gonna be black and you gonna die. And so know that I focus on financial planning, investment advice, as well as I'm your licensed insurance agent. I'm licensed in everything. I don't focus a lot of sales. I focus more on strategy. A lot of times I'm looking at your car insurance, and even though I could place it and do it because I can quote it and broker it out to different companies to get it, I try to help you maximize what you have, what coverage that you have, because it is quite a niche. Even if I keep it locally, often I will send it out to another small Black insurance agency. But as a licensed insurance professional that's been licensed, and for a long, my whole career time, I can help you with these things. And I totally, I remember when I worked at, I don't do a lot of life insurance, but I remember when I first became a stockbroker and the boss was like, why don't y'all talk to her? Because she does life insurance too. Like they were like thinking like, why is this Black girl the only person that does life insurance? But it was never like something that I went after. Actually people called and said like, hey, do you do life insurance? And it's like, yeah, I do life insurance. But there is a strategy to it. And I guess the smartest thing that I did was I got a policy, several policies very early in life. Because what happens? The older you get, what happens?
Oh, the more expensive it becomes.
The more expensive insurance is, because it's based on if the closer you're getting to using it. So if you're younger, they figure you're going to be paying, especially if you're young and healthy, you're going to be paying that premium for a long time. So, they know you're going to die. Everybody's going to die. But the question is like, how close are you to death? So a financial tragedy is preventable. Like I was getting insurance before I was married, before I had a child. And a lot of times we think, well, I'll wait till I'm older. I was a grown woman when I had a child. So you have to think about things like that as well. Even though I didn't have, anyone that was worried about, me, I just was sitting there and I was thinking, it's really not going to get any cheaper. It's like, so you better get it. But I want us to, look, I just want to share with you some stats, some statistics that came from what is called the MIB Life Index, and it's an organization called MIB Life Group. And as of September 2020, life insurance applications were on the rise in the middle of the pandemic, which we're still, I guess we're on the other side of the pandemic, I hope.
No.
But, right?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Mm-mm.
Right?
Not according to the news this afternoon. They said that the hospitals are running over. They don't have space for the people that really needs to go in.
Well, people are buying more life insurance.
Mhm.
Now, last year it was up a lot. The especially people under 44 years old. But that would be because like people over 44 probably, a lot of them already had it. And then, so the growth was in the younger people where they were thinking like, whoa, people are dying. They probably had never seen like death talked about so consistently, and then this year, as of 2021, the life insurance applications have gone down compared to 2020, but it's still up over 7% over July numbers, right? And year to date, life insurance is growing at over 5%. Y'all better call me and get some policies. What is going on?
But JP, that's
right?
That's not the thing that bothers me about life insurance. You buy life insurance when you're young and you pay into life insurance all these years, and then you get become an older person, you become 70 years old, and then they kick you out. You got to buy life insurance when you become an older person, and then it becomes so high.
Yeah, like those are the. What is Rosita said the same thing. The price goes up. It's horrible, and that's why
it's not fair.
That's why more people should buy their life insurance from people like me, because when I do an insurance policy, and I also incorporate that it could go up at blah 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 age, or do you want to make sure it does not go up until blah 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 age? Because I had a policy and the insurance company told me for a client that it would never go up for her whole life. So then we looked, and it was like at age 85, and it was like extreme. It was going to go up. And I said, you said that this was going to for life. And they said, well, I mean, we thought that you meant like for life, but and I'm like, well, what if she lives past 85? So we had to adjust it. And, I said, no, we mean like 100 years old life. But a lot of people living past 100 now. But if you have an agent that they're just trying to get their commission up, and they're not really designed as your financial planner, as your investment advisor, and they're totally looking at your, totally invested in you, it's just, or some 800 number, you do run that risk. But I'm going to tell you, the same clients I had in 1995 are the same clients I have today. And when you have that type of relationship, you don't want to hear, oh, wow, my policy went up. That one you sold me. You know what I'm saying? That would just break my heart. So you have a different level of accountability when you're really tied in together with that person. And and hopefully that will be the continuing power of Afroeconomics. That is, but you are right. And I've seen so many members come to me with some policy they bought years ago, like when I was in middle school, you know what I'm saying? They're like, this is going up. What should I do? And I take it very seriously, and we go through it, because sometimes you don't need the policy anymore. But sometimes you do. And I had a non-member call me with that question. And I knew the person, but they weren't a member. So I couldn't halt and stop and address it. So when in doubt, I just don't say anything. Her question was, I have an insurance policy and I need the cash value. Should I just cash it in? And if it was a member, it would have definitely meant we got to schedule a time and we need to talk about this. Unexpectedly, that person died within weeks of leaving me that message. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if she took it, because then a family member called and said, I don't know if this person has anything with you, But so that kind of suggests that they took the cash value out and ended the policy.
Well, if they took the cash value out of it, then did they get the whole amount?
No. Typically, when you take out the cash value, you default the death benefit coverage. So they didn't. If you stay in it to like 100, then you actually could receive the death benefit, but you have to. One of my 10 things I hate is you have to know the fine print. And it is so much fine print. How thick is an insurance policy? You know how thick it is?
Yes.
And they have paragraph 16 on page 53 that tells you that you don't get the death benefit at 100 because of such and such. It's very, very particular, very, very particular. So like, when y'all might think that it's like, I mean, that's why I have to be like, you're a member, I'm all in with you. But I cannot do that for every person on this planet. Then I can't take care of you. But I have had members who have had policies. And then I say, let's look at them. And when I show them what they have, they want to throw it out the window. I had one client, that agent had lied so bad about the guarantees in the policy that he was, literally, if they had been in the set close to each other, he was an out-of-state agent that he bought it from. I think he would have hurt him. I mean, he had actually done an addendum to the policy guaranteeing the client a certain amount of money. And then the client came in with the policy because of an accountant said, you need to talk to JB Bryan about this. It doesn't seem right. So we went and I said, nah. So I called the company and I said, can you just confirm with me that this is what's guaranteed? And I showed them and then the company said, yeah, that's what's guaranteed, not this. And even though he went to regulators, I stood with him with it. We talked to them. I explained to him. I showed them that this person, because you are not supposed to do an addendum illustration to go with a policy without letting that company know. He had the policy, the copy of it, and the regulators still would not force that company to give his money back. He had like 100,000 deep in that policy.
I went through something like that with my mother also, but most of the time, even with my husband, we did not. When he turned a certain age, we had to get another policy because it only went to a certain time. Yeah.
And then, but we could have talked. It's just that you feel so alone, but I hope that, now by having this discussion, you all know that it doesn't matter what it is that you feel like you've done. It's kind of like sometimes people won't join and won't get help because they feel that they should be farther than they are, or they shouldn't have done this, or my credit is horrible, or I don't have that much, or, that's not what it's all about. It's about making an investment in yourself and getting the help that you need. It's kind of like when people, don't want to go, and this is pre-COVID though. I mean, I don't want to exercise. I'm not going in the gym because I'm out of shape. It's like, that's what it's for. It's like, that is exactly what it's for. If you ever run into any type of experience that you're the customer, you're the one that's in charge. If they don't want to help you, you take you and your money somewhere else. That's what it's for. They're supposed to make sure that you feel comfortable. But I've seen us like just throw away our money and allow people to treat us any kind of way. The Yahoo Finance survey said that over 40% of Black people in their financial service experience feel discriminated against. And they continue to deal with people that they don't feel value their business. That is amazing to me. So in exchange for that, what do? Go into machines. And I mean, the separation between you and your money gets even bigger when we do have, opportunities like Afroeconomics to work with a person. So let's look at some key things I want so that you'll have this, and this will be in our archives of some key questions for you to keep in mind during a life insurance process. Will there be a financial problem with my loved ones when you pass away? I'm not even going to say if you pass away. You will pass away. Will people be jacked up? How many? Who are they? Do you have a child or a spouse or both, depending on your income? If so, how many? This is what life insurance is for. Because one of the things I hate about life insurance, and I have my 10 things though, and number one is people buy it and they don't need it. So if all these questions I'm gonna ask you and you go, no, like a lot of clients and they're multimillionaire and they're single, I'm not going to be rushing them to buy life insurance, even though a whole bunch of agents will say, that's not true, JB, you should do that, but it's only because it's not my only source of income. If a person only has an insurance license, then that's what they're going to say. Everybody needs life insurance. But I truly believe that you have to answer these questions. Do you have someone depending on you for income? If you don't, then other than that, like your investments are going to be more than enough because it's a blessing to them. Your income is not a responsibility to them. Like, don't say I need life insurance because the guy at the corner always asks me for money. You know what I'm saying? That don't count. So did you buy property or a business or your home with your spouse or with a partner or and it was based on two incomes? Now, a lot of people do this, like in business, and they go into business together, and then you end up in business with the person's spouse because you and your business partner didn't discuss the fact that we need to have some life insurance so that you can get rid of the wife or the husband because they know nothing about the business. If not, you're going to be in business with their spouse. And they might be telling you, you need to sell your business and you don't want to. So what you can do is have like what's called a key man insurance policy for your business. And we should do something like that on our Friday midday meeting. I might do that. Our meeting on Fridays at noon is for business owners. And, we talk about things like that, but we did talk about that. And then the same goes for your spouse. You and your spouse, you go out, you get this mortgage together, and then one of you pass away before the mortgage balance is paid. How much was that income that they were bringing in? Is that part of your lifestyle? This is real though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a school loan and you have a school loan that will not disappear and it will leave it on your parents if when you die, and it because some school loans will disappear upon your death, even if you have a cosigner, either cosigner, but you got to get the details on that loan. Because I remember one of our members years ago is a truck driver, and he got insurance on his children because he was co-signing on so many school loans that weren't going to disappear if they died before the loans were paid off. And I was like, that is such a good idea. I was like, go ahead. But it's a good point. But that was, I had never run into someone that was really actually thinking about it on that level, And so then Who do you want to financially protect upon your death? No, do you have like a parent that if something happens to you, they're going to need to be taken care of because you've been taking care of that parent? You know, so you might need to have some money that will pay for a nurse to come in for that parent. Or you may have a child that has a special need. You may need to have to develop a special needs trust upon your death with a life insurance policy. How long will they need that financial support? How long will you need that? If they need it, how long will they need it? And then will your spouse need some extra funding for their retirement? Because you say you retired and you have a pension that disappears upon your death. So you might want to have, insurance that will fund that income that is being lost, because Social Security is also gone because the spouse can only take the larger of the two. I think that is crazy. Do you all get that?
Mm-hmm.
So if your bills are according to both incomes, both Social Security checks, and then upon death, one of those Social Security checks is going to go away and the same bills are going to exist, that can be kind of hard. So what I'll take is, instead of looking at insurance as like a lump sum of money and I'm going to chop it away over the next 10 years, you should look at, and I say this as an investment advisor, look at insurance as a lump sum of money that can create the income that needs to be replaced. So we invest the insurance and then you take out the money from the investments that provide for your income over the years. Instead of saying, I have $1 million policy, so I can buy $100,000 Porsche that I always wanted. Mama will want me to have that, So, but it might be smarter to just pay the payment, because taking out that 100 is going to bring your income now based on only 900 that we can put to work. Mm-hmm. So, and once you look at that payment and you say, oh my goodness, I'm not paying a $2,000 Porsche payment, you might reconsider. Correct? You might decide, I'm gonna think this through. But I like to look at life insurance as just like as if we would out of an IRA or any other lump sum of money, that it is an asset to generate income from. So you have the lump, but trying to convince your beneficiaries of that, it's hard, but they'll be like, no, I'm not. I'm going to pay everything off, and then it gets tricky because you want to make sure that so let me just look at your beneficiaries are smart as possible. Feel me on that? Makes a big difference. But after we're gone, I hope that we're on and focus on greater things. So let's look at 10 things I hate about life insurance. This is Life Insurance Awareness Month. I'll say 1, that people buy it and don't need it. They just buy because they were told that they should get it, but they really don't need it. So there are people, and some of you, that don't need it. And then a second point is the people need it, but they don't buy it. Which one you think is worse? The people that buy it and don't need it, or people that need it and don't buy it?
People that need it.
People that need it and don't buy it.
Isn't it the truth? They all up on, look, now your family got you all up on, what's that called, where they start collecting the money? GoFundMe. They're doing the GoFundMe to take care of things.
Let's say it.
with your picture. Look, with your picture and everything.
Embarrassing. How embarrassing.
And if they had thought about it at an early age, they could have taken out insurance at an early age. It'd have been cheaper.
Isn't it true? Isn't it true? Isn't it true? And then, like,
take it out when they're a baby.
You don't, amen. But especially if you have like a family history of some sort of illness or something of early onset or something. Like I have one friend and her family feared that she was going to get diabetes type 1, and they got as much insurance for her as they could as early as possible because she was diagnosed with it. But the thing about it is, as inflation increases, you really can't get a whole lot of insurance like on a child, because you have to have some sort of insurable interest. That's why a lot of the children's coverage is just riders. Like it's just like you can't just go and get life insurance on your ex-husband unless you have an insurable interest, meaning he's paying you child support. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just say like, I'm gonna get some insurance on that person because they living wrong, It has to be somehow it's going to impact you financially for their death. And then a third point is what I don't like or hate about life insurance is that a lot of people don't get approved because of their health. But a lot of people also, a fourth point is that there's a lot of people who don't get approved because of their habits. I've had people that have applied for life insurance previous years, met me, applied for life insurance again, and what they had in their urine the years before still shows up in the system as they were dirty. They keep this stuff. I'm just wondering what they're going to do with a lot of the information that they're collecting during COVID. Is it going to, get into your insurance systems where they go, well, in 2020, you had COVID, and you see what I'm saying? Because it's
probably
there. Come on.
I know, but it's in the system.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't surprise me.
I know. It's in the system. Shoot, it wouldn't surprise me if they hold the vaccine against you.
Mm-hmm. Not at all. And
they go, well, that vaccine, we're not sure about the impact of it over the long term. Wouldn't there be something to go? So it's
I can't see that, Jay.
I know that would be horrible. But you know what? But but the only reason they wouldn't do that is because it'd be too many people. Their market would get smaller and smaller.
Because the government approved the vaccine.
So that don't matter. The insurance companies don't have to go by that. Like they can turn you down based on having marijuana in your urine, and the government approves of it.
Cigarettes
too. Exactly. They'll get you, girl. Their whole thing is making sure they stay profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Mr. Jenkins said he saw on the news that insurance companies may charge you if you're not vaccinated.
Now that I can see.
May charge more if you're not especially like, for hospital stuff connected to it when everybody could get it free. If they, really, because the science is proving that that's the reports are saying that it does reduce your chance of hospitalization. So that's a good point.
Not that I can see.
Yeah. Everything about them is avoiding losses. A fifth point is most people don't, I don't know, most is a big word. Many people don't buy enough life insurance. Like the agent will come in and say, this amount costs this amount, this amount costs this amount, this amount costs this amount. And you go, well, I can only afford this amount. So then you only get that amount, but you needed $1 million, but you ended up buying 100,000 because of the premium, not thinking that maybe you needed to have a different type of insurance or a different agent. You needed to go and shop because your need hasn't changed. Your need hasn't changed. And in many cases I've seen where, you know, people could buy 10 times as much insurance given the right policy. And as Jenny just said, reality is a lot of them are term. If they're going to increase it when you get 80 or 70 or whatever, anyway, that's nothing but a term policy and they told you it was permanent. Feel me? So you have to make sure that you buy enough. And then a sixth point is that I hate that people only buy what is sold to them and they don't evaluate fully what they need completely. No, and then a seventh point is that there's extra perks that are on permanent policies, and that increases the price of the policy. Right? So what you have to know is that you're buying these extras. And a lot of times I'll go out of my way because, I mean, I have to blatantly tell you, I go out of my way to make sure that the premium on the life insurance is minimized because I have to operate in your best interest. And it is in your best interest to minimize there because you do get a better return on your money by participating in the work retirement plan or participating in, keeping money within your IRA. So if you're taking out money unnecessarily because you have an unnecessarily high insurance policy because it has this extra savings portion on it, like we get excited because it says at the age 65, you'll have $500,000 in your cash value, hypothetically. So that means what? You paid way too much. The cash value is your money that you overpaid. And if you have been putting that in a better investment like the insurance company was doing, you'd have a lot more than that cash value. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Amen.
Exactly. So you have to think about it is that I hate that we're buying extra stuff and we don't really need the extra stuff. You need the life insurance, get life insurance, get the most for the minimum amount of money. That's the goal, in my opinion. And the eighth point is that, look, this video may be blocked by the insurance companies too. Y'all be like trying to watch it and it goes like, scratch. And number 8 is that people don't update their beneficiaries. You know, there's people who have the same beneficiary 2 or 3 boyfriends, girlfriends ago. Update the beneficiary. There are people married that don't know who the beneficiary is on their spouse's policy. That's not okay, right? He's so funny. King Hollis, you funny. Exactly.
No, I know of a case like that.
Right?
I know of a case like that.
Yeah, and I've told y'all, and you may not, for those of you who haven't heard, I was telling you, I know this couple and they had an affair and they got married, but the husband died and he still had his initial wife on the policy.
Oh yeah, I've heard cases like that.
Where your heart is, your money flows. Where you say, where your heart goes, your money flows. No. But she said, you know, it's hard. That's like, you know what I mean? Hard. That's hard. So update the beneficiary. And then a ninth point is that we assume. Assume. When you're talking about contracts, you should never assume anything. I had a meeting with a member today, and they were about to sign a real estate contract. And she said, oh, I've known her so long. You know, I said, okay, well, make sure you let her know that you have me in your life. Because if she ever needs to be fired, you can blame it on me. Because we're going to have to. You have to watch every bit of any contract that you sign. We have to. You know, just hey, take it as an understood. Well, you know, my investment advisor, JB, said that I need to make sure I read it thoroughly, and I want her eyes to see it too. And is she a lawyer? Well, no, she's not a lawyer, but she's my extra set of eyes, and it's free. So, so I can't lose it. Like, you know, like having anyone that you trust look at something before you sign it can't do anything but help. Correct? It can't do anything but help. So just be extra conscious. It's so good to see you, Miss Bussy, in here tonight, and we are praying.
Thank you.
We are praying with you, sis.
Thank you. Thank you.
So update. I hate it when we don't update the beneficiary, and I hate it when we assume something. You know, if it's not in writing, then don't believe it. If it's not in writing, then do not believe it. If it's not in writing, don't believe it. Well, they said they were only gonna, you know, things get funny, you know, things get funny. And and then most of the things in life where you know, people will say like, I can't believe that happened, or I thought I was getting so and so. Like, all of that was preventable. We have to take responsibility for that. We have to take responsibility for that, because you didn't have to do that. And my number 10 thing that I hate is that, and that saying that you have coverage. Everybody thinks that you have coverage. Then you die, but you don't really have any coverage. It's not enough, or it's not, you know, it's not what you thought it was. When you're gone, but saying that you have it, everybody thinking, and then it's not being enough, you know what I mean, is not enough. It's not appropriate. No. And remember those days? I remember that with my grandmother. And I remember that insurance man like coming by every week to pick up money.
That's right. That's true.
Every week.
Georgia.
You came to, you know what I'm saying? I was in college by the time my grandma passed. And my mom was like, it won't really nothing there. Like, I'm like, what? I was like, she paid it. She paid it my entire life. But if you look at it historically, there has been several lawsuits against insurance companies for taking advantage of customers, and customers actually paying more into the policy than the policy actually ever being worth.
That's true.
So they have like a $5,000 policy and you put $6,000 into it. I mean, really think about what is going on. You know, what is really happening with the policy? What are you really buying? Make sure that you have a copy of your policy. Make sure you know who the beneficiary is of your policy. If you don't, I mean, you will not regret. If there's only one thing that you do from this discussion, is just get your policies handy so that your beneficiaries know if something happens to you, this is it. This stuff is right here. These items are right here. Can y'all feel me on that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Because there's really nothing worse than, just that feeling of wondering if you're going to have to take care of it. But my opinion, I feel that we spend too much money on funerals anyway.
I do too. I
Yes.
totally do. I have a question for you, JB. Now, a person like myself, I don't need to leave anything to anybody. So I really don't need an insurance policy. What about a person just having burial?
Yeah, but you don't really need to have a policy for burial. All you need is to have a savings account with that person's name on it. And then they use that for your burial.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It doesn't really have to be like, these insurance promotions make you feel like you need to have burial. You know what I'm saying? It's like any account money that you have, the city, the state, the county will require that money be spent first on your burial. It will say, doesn't it, Ms. Davis, on the estate forms, what was spent on the burial. It's expected. It doesn't matter where that money came from, you know what I mean? But the first expense of the estate is to take care of those expenses.
Burial, that's right.
But it's just that we spend too much on that particular line item. I don't know, like, why we feel like it has to be, I know it's expensive. I know that the funeral homes do that, but, it's the same way, like, and I hate to compare the two, but you can have an expensive wedding or you can have an inexpensive wedding. It's just, what I mean? Or you can have an expensive car or you can have an inexpensive car. You can have expensive clothes. You can have inexpensive, what I mean? Those habits are going to follow you all the way through. But I will never forget, I have a client and he had a whole lot of money and he instructed his beneficiary, this is what I want. And collectively, she only had to spend $2,000, no more, no less, on his funeral.
That won't happen today.
No, that was today. That was like with a year or so ago.
Well, they must have put him in the pine box.
No, he was like cremated.
You can't cremate somebody for $2,000. It costs $5,000 to cremate somebody.
Nope. Only you.
700-800.
Yeah. Look, only you. See, you can make cremation expensive too.
Buy an expensive urn if you want
exactly. To. He probably said, put me in an envelope. Don't you let them take my money.
He probably did not have a coffin then.
Oh no.
Cremate somebody, but it costs $5,000 to cremate somebody.
No, you should check it out tomorrow. And you can do it. But you're gonna have to say no to a lot of them. Don't you want to have no? Don't you want to get no? But don't think that she didn't get a hard time from family. But she followed his instructions. Good for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I know that's what he wanted. And everybody that knows him knows he's that kind of dude. He would not want money wasted on something like that. And then people,
what do you think about a pre-planned funeral?
Definitely. That's the best way to do it. Because people will mess everything up.
You're right.
And then like this, it's like, nah. I mean, you literally can have exactly what is said, where it is, where it's done. I wish my uncle had done that because he was estranged. They were together, but he was estranged. So he left me in charge of everything. And I did not know that. And the key thing is, if you leave somebody in charge, make sure you let them know.
Let them know that. Exactly. At least let them know.
So by the time I found out, she had already made sure that she did everything he didn't ask for. Everything. Spent all of his money, everything, had switched everything out, had done everything, took everything, moved it, all done. Then she said, I need to have some paperwork done. Did you know that you're the one who's supposed to be, you're the executor? So just then, and I said, what? And she said, yeah, you're the, I said, no, I did not know. That was horrible. So nothing that he wanted done, down to a storage unit that he had. She went in and I said to the man, well, why did you let her in the storage unit? He said, well, it's a little old lady. I mean, I don't know. And she said he was dying. I said, sir, what's her name on the account? Well, no. Well, then how'd you do this? And then I called the police. And then the police said the only thing you could do was press charges against her. And I was not going to press charges against some little old lady. But that was foul. She was foul.
She did that on purpose.
Yeah. And all he needed, I mean, she was running around. She must have gone as fast as she could go. Like, please don't die till I get all this done. She's running around.
JB,
yes.
Right quick, can you give a rundown on the difference in the universal, term, and whole life policies? I've been hearing that all my life. My mom had universal life. I really do not know what in the world that really was, how they differed one
There's
to
only
the other.
2 different types of insurance. There's only permanent and term. And for whole life and universal fall under permanent. And then the universal is more flexible in the premiums and how they have to be paid. And typically it's got a little bit, maybe the premium will be a little bit lower than on the whole life policy. The whole life is inflexible, and it kind of was the first type of policy that came out, was probably term, then followed up by the whole life for permanent, which is not permanent. And then they mislead you with the whole life name, because you got to look at the details on the policy to really see what is their definition of a whole life. And then the universal has, I think there's a key factor in there of that. Instead of the whole life has more guarantees, like a fixed interest rate and things like that. The universal has more adjustments that they can make and gives the company a little bit more flexibility in the interest that they pay you and how your premiums are paid. But they're permanent. Both of those fall under types of permanent policies. And the
premiums were annually.
Yeah.
She had an annual premium.
They didn't have to be, and she could always switch them. You could always switch them. But once we lock in, you feel like you got to be, you know what I mean, that you're locked in. But, she could have paid them quarterly. They'll bill for annual or quarterly typically, but if you do the monthly, a lot of times, and depending on when she passed, they want it to be drafted out automatically. So if you don't want them connected to your bank account, then you'll do the quarterly or the annually. Yeah.
Okay.
But good questions. And your premiums change over time. What portion of your premiums on a permanent policy that are going to the life insurance and what portions are going to the cash value will change throughout the policy, where you'll get to your older years. And because the cost of the insurance is going up, they are actually taking part of your cash value accumulation. So that it's you have to be very careful and look at it very closely. Because I know that I'd set mine up for automatic draft. And I called the company and I was like, I'm paying more than, and they said, well, no, not really. Because, you're getting older. So you're kind of right at what you should be paying. Isn't that something? In order to avoid going into the cash value. And I was like, what? So it needs to be managed just like your investment account. We do need to keep an eye on life insurance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But there's only really 2 types. And then there's all different types of term, like 10-year term, 20-year term, 30-year term, and then the permanents, the universal, then there's variable universal, and then there's whole life, so, and get the full description on when you're getting quotes from them, get the full description of what their universal is, what their whole life is, and what their variable is. If it's variable, like get their definitions. Even if I give you like some rough summary, it doesn't matter, because they're going to add bells, whistles, whatever, and change it all around. And you said, well, on Google, it said universal, like, well, not ours.
JB, isn't there a mixture of whole life and term?
You can.
Policy.
Some companies do that. They'll have like 100,000 of it is term, and then 200 of it might be permanent in order to make it look like you have 300 in coverage. You got to be very careful with that too.
I've had that too.
Yeah, be very careful. And then one of them run out, but then the other stays, and
yeah, it's a mess.
Keep it simple. Yeah, keep it simple. Very good questions. Like we could but that's things. Just let me know. During our meetings, we can go over that in the Secure Firm portal. You could call the policy, get them to give you a PDF of your policy information. So, and then you can put that into your secure portal with me for looking at the details on the policy. But I think that King Hollis brought up a good point of, a lot of these things as far as final expenses, you can just go ahead and take care of on your own. Right. And have like, well, I don't care about this, but I care about that and stuff like that. They charge for everything.
That's true.
They charge for everything.
I had an aunt who took care of all of her expenses. Her children just had to attend her funeral.
I know that's
pay
right.
for the crypt and everything, her dress and all.
Good for her. The music and everything.
It taught me something though. Take care of stuff.
Amen. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Yes, that's what I've already done.
Good for you. Good for you. I love it.
Planning on writing up what I want said, and I'm serious, because that's important. If you want it, you have to do it the way you want it.
Yeah.
Write it up.
All I ask is that when you have an obituary, please put member of Afro Economics. Put founding member of Afro Economics. You know what I'm saying? I'll put that in my father's obituary. They asked me to edit it, and I said, "Oh, let me make sure." Put this in a strategic financial management program designed. Put the. I know my dad was like, I know she ain't trying to get a commercial in my obituary. Yes, I am, Dad. Yes, I am.
You sure don't say Jennifer.
Exactly. He was there. Look, he was there at the very beginning. Exactly. Look, everybody in heaven's like, what? What's that? Dang, I missed it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Miss Queen Howard said that she bought a crypt this year. It's so good. Yeah. I mean, we don't know. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, seriously, we cannot think like this is something for older people to think about, because these are younger people that are saying this. They're definitely younger than they'll be tomorrow. But it's one thing for them to, like, one less thing to worry about. One less thing, but just so much, like, but definitely life insurance is not the only way to take care of those, like funeral homes love to say, do you have a life insurance policy? Because they want to be able to go ahead and move forward with their work, and you sign the policy over to them, and then they give you back what's left over. Isn't that something? But if you just using your savings and checking, or it's already paid, you don't need any of that. What's scary to me is that somehow I bet you can pay for everything, and they're going to think of something that you need.
It has happened.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell him like, you know, I know if you pass before me, King Hollis, and they say something like that, and I know about him, like, that's a lie, because he said it was all paid. If it's not there, he doesn't want it. You know,
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I want to spend more than $2,000.
We only spent $1,500. $1,500 on you, Jenny.
Jenny, you won't know it.
Because my hair got to be did.
You won't know it. No, you won't.
You won't even know it.
You
exactly.
Yes, I will. Because listen,
exactly. Jenny would be so mad.
I would be mad. I'm gonna say, hey God, they only spent $2,000 on me.
Well, JB.
Exactly.
Could you speak about when people go into nursing homes and they will set up a certain amount to take care of their final expenses?
When they go into nursing homes, does the person or the nursing home does that?
The nursing home, because I had a friend who her sister went into one and they told her to take so much and take care of the final expenses. Up front, yes. Before all her money was depleted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they do that.
And it's probably part of the code. That it can be included as one of the expenses. That you have this expense, because you know that when they start saying how many assets do you have and blah blah blah. And like,
she had a house and everything.
Yeah.
Look, they took out the final expenses.
Look, that's when you put down $30,000.
Right.
And they were like, what? Yes, she wanted it. We have a Jenny Jones funeral series. That would be cool, Jenny. We should come out. We got to work on that Friday. Or the Jenny Jones package.
She probably wants a chariot with about 6 or 7 white horses.
There you go.
All of them be Clydesdales.
Thank you.
You know what?
I can see that.
You know what? You joking, but my girlfriend her daughter did all that crazy stuff.
And
she
some
had
doves.
the white horses. I mean, and her brother was saying, we don't need to do all this.
Yeah.
Her brother was so upset. We don't need to do all this. I mean, it was a 2-day funeral. I'm like, you guys. It was a 2-day funeral.
As long as but the part is a lot of times the people that do that are the ones that haven't paid the taxes, haven't paid for all the other bills.
Her daughter had it. Her daughter.
I hope so. I'm telling
she
you.
had it going on. She did.
Yeah, but the one that's got it going on, I'm telling you, typically is the one that doesn't get it going on.
I know she had it going on.
All right.
Yeah, she did. I know she had it going on.
I'm gonna have to give her the got it going on test.
I know her.
I'll be like, Jenny, she don't have it going on.
But listen, I'm gonna go a little bit over $2,000.
Exactly. Yes, you can. I know. She's like but the Miss Bussy was asking about, is it better to prepay through the funeral home for death insurance or burial insurance? That's a good in my opinion, if you really trust the funeral home, do the funeral home. But
they might go out of business.
Exactly. Yes. But the best thing to do,
they could go out of business.
Hey, JB. You know, in my opinion, I would say just do your own plan and have the money in an account.
Right. Yeah.
I don't. The insurance is not worth it either. And a lot of times you'll buy like a $10,000 burial insurance policy, and if something happens within the next 2 years or the next 5 years, they'll have it in the small print that will only return your premium. So it was just a waste of time to put it in there.
Hey, JB.
We had a situation with my aunt. Her husband had paid for her funeral. Then the funeral home went out of business, but they didn't have the policy. He had put it in a trust. So all we had to do is when she passed was to get that money to pay for her funeral.
So what
But
did
the
he do
only
at the
catch-
funeral home?
But the only catch about that was when she died, it wasn't the same amount as what it was when he paid for it. So the policy that she had, it had interest on it, but we didn't have to pay as much as if she didn't have it, you know. So,
So
a lot of people are going that way.
They use it as a discount.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. See what I'm saying? They're always trying to make you come out of pocket with something.
No, but the thing
At the
was, it
end.
is, I mean, he died in 1990, and she just died in 20, you know, so the funeral is more expensive than it was back then.
Well, that's their job though. Their job is to factor in how much it costs for you to pay for this. And that's part of, they got the money in advance. So if they took the money and they invested the money, because they didn't spend the money, she didn't die, they actually came out way ahead.
Yeah, but see, the funeral home went out of business.
So who was the one that was holding the money that she spent all that time? That's
the trust. It was
that trust was making money.
Yeah, but that trust, that money that was in there, it helped pay for her funeral.
But they only paid for it at a discount. But in reality, they should have been, like you mentioned, giving her some sort of interest. If she had just kept it and we were investing it, she would have had way more than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? But they said, well, the cost of burying is so much more. But you say back, but you've had my money for 20 years.
No, but that wasn't the trust that said that. It was the funeral home that said, the new funeral home that we had to go to. They couldn't bury her at the old rate.
But that trust that was holding that money, that was connected to the whole funeral home industry, was held that money with no return for all those years. And they then penalized her. It said, but it costs more. That's really bad.
Somebody invested that money.
Yeah, they did. Exactly. And then they're telling the family, but I'm sure that happens every day because most people don't see it the way I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean? Most people see it exactly the way it was explained, that the cost of if the event is going up. But that's the cost. That's the point of paying early, that you're supposed to cover me. You know what I mean? For that. And then they'll say, well, there's a fine print. Well, then if you're not going to cover me in 20 years, then I'm not putting my money here until 20 years.
Yeah.
We could have put that in something else.
Yeah, that's the funeral home, because I invested in buying, you know, you have to get those vaults to put the casket in the in the ground. And I bought the vault years ago and I paid for it. And so when my mother passed and I had to use it, they was using a different vault now. They wasn't the same vault, but they gave it to me at the rate that it is now. And I didn't have to pay any extra because I had already paid for one.
Amen.
So it all depends on the people who you dealing with.
Yeah. And because in that situation, that original funeral home was gone.
Yeah.
So that's, you know what I mean, worked to their disadvantage too.
But I mean, we didn't pay it. It paid for most of it.
Yeah.
We didn't have to pay that much. It really wasn't that much.
That's good.
Yeah, because it had grown. I mean, I was surprised when we got the final figure. So we didn't have to pay that much.
That's good. I think a lot of times they just figure out a way to make sure they get something.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? They want some new money. And it says, can I take my company's insurance policy on me and just pay for my own funeral expenses? Like, I guess the question is, can I cancel my employer's insurance policy? Be very careful with that. We will have to talk that through. We have to make sure, like I was saying about that person that called, and it was like, it's very detailed. That's not a quick answer, because as far as canceling insurance, that insurance has those waiting periods. So if a person gets rid of a policy to get another policy, like they're starting all over as far as having guaranteed coverage. Because they basically want to see you those first couple of years, that if you die, like there was this lady she had $1 million policy on her husband. He gets in the hot tub and he dies. And for years, she was fighting with the insurance company because, and this was a white family, and they were fighting with the insurance company. She was telling me about it. It's hard, it's a horrible story. And they refused and won the court battle. The insurance company won because they said he didn't have the policy long enough.
Yeah, that happens. That's
and they had done the health tests and everything, had approved them. But they literally were waiting for the policy to come back. And he died in that hot tub.
Mm.
The lesson there, don't get in a hot tub. I'm just joking.
Right. You was reading my mind, sis. You was reading my mind. Stay out of the hot tub.
Don't get exactly until your policy is fully complete. Exactly.
After 2 years.
After 2 years, exactly. And then call them and check it out, make sure. They'll be like, well, due to COVID, it's 2.5 years. What are you talking about?
So, in other words, you're saying that when you get a policy, you're not covered within 2 years?
And most policies, you're not.
Most of them like that.
Yeah, you'll have I'm going to call it a waiting period, but it does have a legal term to it.
Wow.
But with insurance policies, yeah. So a lot of times, they go, oh, it's for everybody, and they're getting that money. If they can get you to sign up and use your money for 2 years or use your money for 1.5 years, and all they have to do is send your money back to your beneficiary, and you pass at 1 year and 12 months, 11 months, and all they have to do is send it back. Do you think about the use of your money they got? That's just, you were just letting them borrow money from you for almost 2 years or whatever. So what you can do a lot of times is just add on, to kind of ladder the coverage. So if you have a decent policy, but it's not enough, but it's an old policy, then we can ladder onto it. But if it's just newer policies, and they're all new, but you're going to get something better, it's better to just go on to get something better, as soon as possible. Yeah.
JB.
Yes.
It's something that I've been hesitating to say, but I'm going to say it so it may help someone. If someone is going to pre-plan their service, they might want to do the research on ground burial and mausoleum burial. Insurance, funeral homes pretty much charge for a vault. A mausoleum is your vault, and you don't have to pay for it. So it would be recommended that if they're going to pre-plan, do the research between funeral home expenses and the mausoleum expenses.
You do have to pay for a mausoleum.
Right, but the mausoleum is your vault. You don't have to buy a vault.
So you're saying like you save money.
Right.
A little bit. That's
right.
That's good. That's good.
Usually a mausoleum is more expensive than a vault.
Yeah, usually a mausoleum is a lot more expensive than a vault.
Yeah.
Yeah, mausoleum is cheaper.
No, mausoleums are more expensive because I already have my mausoleum next to my mother's. We bought 5 of them at the time my mother passed, which was like 15 years ago. They have quadrupled in price.
And she's very, very rich. That's what she's saying. And she's very rich.
No.
That's
but it also
you indirectly.
No, we just wanted to be near my mom, so and they sell out quick, so
That's so sweet though.
And it also depends on the mausoleum and where you're having the person buried.
That's right. That's right.
You can have a really nice burial in a cemetery that's really expensive, and it's cheaper than a mausoleum. But most mausoleum cost more than the burial, the cemetery.
And and what's the difference between that and you, Queen Howard? What you got, a crypt? Is that the same thing as a mausoleum? I mean, no, I think so.
What is a mausoleum?
I think a crypt is the same. You think?
I don't know.
That's what Miss Howard like texted in that she got her crypt earlier this year. But the that's interesting. But I guess like with everything, it really depends on location, doesn't it? With that, y'all.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, it really does. So, because the particular place you were talking about, a crypt is a chamber that holds a casket. Is that the same thing as a mausoleum?
Well, mausoleums are above ground.
Yeah,
but they hold the casket. You put the casket into it.
Yeah, so that's the crypt and the mausoleum are the same. Okay, but I know that Miss Howard was saying that the higher you are above eye level, the less expensive the mausoleum / crypt was.
That's true. That's true.
That is true.
That you could go up, and I don't think I want to be high up because Wi-Fi is really not that good up there.
Are you planning on working, Jay?
You know I got to. I got to have my Wi-Fi. That would be a problem.
I don't think you need it up there.
Exactly. You don't think so? I don't know.
You better be resting, Jay.
Exactly. That is funny though, right? I'll be way up there. So how is that Wi-Fi up there? Do you have a cell signal up there, sir?
You're in the clouds.
Exactly, because I'm taking my cell phone with me. Exactly.
It's so funny. Oh no, it's so funny.
So I can call my man. What you doing?
Jesus.
This I would like to see.
Exactly. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call all y'all. You can be like, what? JB called me last night.
Whatever you do, don't call me.
I'm calling you too.
I'm glad we can all laugh. You know what I mean?
You just leave me alone because I don't want to hear from you.
Exactly. I'll be the one playing the hip hop music. I won't say nothing. When you hear some gangster rap, you know it's me.
Well, if you call me, give me some good numbers to play.
I know I got to give you some gospel or something.
Now I want some good numbers to play.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
God. Oh,
I got you. That's terrible. I'll be like, he's just trying to use me. I'm gonna hold out. I'm not gonna give it to him soon. I know. That would be something else.
People could talk about this subject the way we're talking about it tonight and having such fun talking about it.
Amen.
It is serious.
That's why I just said I'm glad we can all laugh.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I told you one thing we know is gonna happen. We are going to stay black and die.
That's the truth.
See, I'm gonna be singing and Egg gonna be playing that guitar.
Oh yes, y'all gonna be getting down. Exactly. You're gonna need a big mausoleum. You're gonna need Rosita said the mausoleum is above ground or underground, and it differs from a in-ground because a crypt is larger than a vault, but a mausoleum typically we're talking about something above ground, right, y'all? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a building, right?
Have you seen the mausoleums in Mexico? Like the drug dealers have these huge mausoleums. Like I was watching on some documentary and they have like mausoleums with gold and huge tributes to the drug dealers. Huge.
Oh my.
You walk in, you can do tours. I mean, their mausoleums are huge. Exactly. You're like, JB. But it is, they're like, they're worshipped over there.
Excuse me, guys. I live by myself now. I'm getting scared. Can we
Don't get scared. Don't get
I'm
scared.
getting scared now.
Don't get scared. Don't get scared. I'm not coming back. I ain't gonna call you. I'm not gonna call.
I just heard some noise in this place.
But I'm gonna tell you though, a good documentary that made me think about Ed and is the Howling Wolf. Have you seen that, Mr. Monroe?
Howling Wolf?
Yeah, there's a documentary about him on Netflix.
No,
it is so good.
I don't want anything scary.
I think that was Zulu.
It's not scary. That blues singer. It was Zulu. Yeah, that blues singer Howling Wolf. That was in isn't that his name? Yeah. He was in Cadillac Records. Yeah. I mean, that movie is so good, especially from like a financial perspective. He was so conservative and smart with his money. Remember in Cadillac Records, he was the one that had the money to pay for Lil Walter's burial. He was the man. He was the man. But the documentary was so good. You know, yeah, you would really like that. I mean, he was very talented. But yeah, that's from a financial perspective, that was a very Black financial empowerment movie, documentary, because it was the truth about how he came from nothing. He did that, and his daughters were like, he took care of us. It was so good to my mom, you know. I mean, his work ethic was fantastic.
Hey, JB, listening to this webinar tonight, when next time that we talk, we might, I just want to revisit my position. You know, I'm such that I don't have life insurance, and I think you know the reason why.
That's right.
Because I have other stuff that I can go on, and but I just want to make sure that you're still in agreement with that.
Great.
Okay.
And many of you are self-insured. Many of you that there is a point there, like there's a point in your life where there's so many people depending on you that you have to have a lot of life insurance. And then as everybody else gets financially independent, you don't need
it.
Yeah, they're not dependent on you to eat anymore. You know, and then you get to, and the debts start being paid down and your debts are paid off, and this, you know, you end up with, you know, oh, well, I have enough to take care of that, you know, in my savings account, or, you know, so it's great. But yeah, let's definitely, everybody should take heed to that we need to talk about, you know, your specific goals, your answers to those questions that I put in there.
What do you think about life insurance for planned giving? Like if you want to give to like a university or something.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And the nice thing about it is, like, you can set up the university as the beneficiary, and they count it. They count it. Like, you can like say, like, I'm gonna give the university $1 million, you know, life insurance policy upon my, you know, passing, and they count you as $1 million giver, and they didn't get the money yet. So a lot of times when you'll see like a person gave $500,000 or $1 million, or they didn't really get it. It's just that they have put it on as a irrevocable beneficiary on a policy. But and a smart thing for the university to do would be to make sure they are designated as the owner of the policy if somebody does that. But that's cool. You can. Interesting, right? So a lot of things, like I was saying, when Jenny was saying, oh, I gotta see if they got it going on. A lot of things that look like things like people have it going on. And then when you find out how they did it, or somebody you see and they gave $100,000 to the university, you're like, good God, you're thinking they really wrote a check for $100,000, right?
Right.
They just made them partial beneficiary on a life insurance policy. That was it. He said, I'll give y'all 100. And they counted it.
Wow.
Yes, I had someone when I was director at my scholarship at my church. Someone did donate money to the scholarship. After she passed, she donated money from her life and when her passing.
When she, while she was still living, or y'all found out when she died?
When she died.
Yeah, but she could have told the church that, and it would be considered planned giving. You know, and that she could have told them, "Where upon my death, you're going to get this. Upon my, death, you're going to get
happened.
that." Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Well, what's the advantage to that, JB?
The advantage to it, I mean, it's mostly like you get, you want status, and you want status while you're living.
A tax advantage or something.
Why because you can't actually write it off as a deduction until it's actually done.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not paying any tax to write off.
And the estate, if they had the overwhelming majority of people that we know, because you can pass on so much now, the estate's not going to have an estate tax problem either. But but the advantage is mostly they want to help the cause. They want, they believe in it. They want to give to something that they believe in. And when they do it part of a plan program, people give more because they want the appreciation while they're living.
Okay.
So sometimes they'll get special seating at games and stuff like that,
Interesting.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, everybody. We did that thing. Y'all asked some really good questions. I hope that everybody enjoyed tonight as much as I did. I really did.
I did.
I don't expect anybody to be passing anytime soon, but we definitely have some stuff to think about, right? We got some stuff to think about.
JB,
yes.
You should, being that you're recording this, it's a good item to sell that we can talk to our family members who don't want to talk about such a subject. It's a good introduction to it.
That's so true. And it is definitely, going to be available. Go to, and I definitely have it recorded, and I'm gonna stop this because I don't like to give out